Akashvani Mangaluru presents Voices from Bookshelf in collaboration with Bookaholics Mangalore. Dear listeners, welcome to today's episode of Voices from Bookshelf. Let us lend our ears to Megha Kamath, who will speak about the book Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen in the genre of literature.
Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Megha and today we are stepping into the world of country estates, grand balls, sharp tongues and misunderstandings. Today the book that we are going to talk about is the most beloved and enduring novels in English literature, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. First published in 1813, this novel continues to captivate readers around the world with its sharp wit, unforgettable characters, and commentary on society, class, and love. So let's check the setting and context of this novel. Jane Austen's second published novel is not just a romantic comedy, though its central storyline of Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy is among the most famous love stories ever written. The story is set in 19th century rural England, during the time when a woman's future was largely determined by whom she married. This societal pressure to marry for security rather than for love forms the central backdrop of the story. Austen, with her characteristics, irony, and restraint, paints a world where the personal is political, where choices in love and marriage reflect broader truths about the money, status, and agency. In this review, we will explore the novel's plot, its major themes, its unforgettable characters, and its continuing relevance. Even though this novel was published more than 200 years ago, it continues to resonate with the readers of all ages around the world. So whether you are a lifelong Austen fan or simply curious about the hype, stay tuned. There's much more than what meets the eye in this witty, wise and wonderfully written novel. So let's talk about the plot summary. Has its heart, Pride and Prejudice is a story of personal growth and evolving understanding. The plot follows Elizabeth Bennet, the second of 5 daughters in the genteel but financially struggling family. Wealthy bachelor Charles Bingley moves into the nearby estate of Netherfield Park. He quickly becomes the object of affection for many, particularly Elizabeth's elder sister, Jane. Bingley's friend, Fitzwilliam Darcy, is equally wealthy but socially reserved and initially comes across as arrogant and aloof. When he first meets Elizabeth, he dismisses her as merely tolerable. This sparks her dislike for him. The plot is driven by a series of misunderstandings and revelations. Over the course of this novel, Elizabeth becomes increasingly convinced that Mr. Darcy is not only prideful but cruel, especially after she hears from the handsome soldier Mr. Wickham, who claims that Darcy wronged him. As the story unfolds, Elizabeth learns that Darcy's pride is not arrogance but social awkwardness. And Darcy learns that Elizabeth's prejudice is not stubbornness but a demand for integrity and respect. However, everything changes when Darcy later confesses his love and proposes to Elizabeth and she rejects him. She accuses him of ruining her sister's happiness and mistreating Wickham. In response, Darcy writes her a letter explaining his side of the story and we see a different man emerge. One who is kind, loyal, and deeply self-reflecting. Meanwhile, Darcy begins to act in a more humble and generous way, most notably when he helps rescue Elizabeth's younger sister, Lydia, from social ruin. By the end, Pride and Prejudice on both sides have been humbled. Elizabeth and Darcy reconcile, and Darcy eventually proposes again, and this time Elizabeth says yes, leading to one of the literature's most satisfying romantic conclusions. Let's check what are the characters which are there in the novel. Start with Elizabeth Bennet, the novel's protagonist. Elizabeth is witty, intelligent, and fiercely independent. She resists societal pressure to marry for security and insists on marrying for love, an idea that was radical for her time. Her keen sense of observation makes her an engaging heroine, but her judgments, while sharp, are occasionally flawed. Austen uses Elizabeth to explore the consequences of relying too heavily on first impressions. Mr. Darcy, the male lead, is a complex figure. Initially seen as proud and condescending, he slowly reveals himself to be honorable, generous, and deeply principled. Darcy's transformation isn't so much about changing who he is, but about expressing his true self with more humility and openness. His journey is about overcoming class consciousness and learning to value character over connections. Jane Bennet and Charles Bingley represent the more traditional romantic pairing, kind, sweet, and almost too perfect. Their story is somewhat idealized, but it serves as a foil for Elizabeth and Darcy's more complicated relationship. Mr. and Mrs. Bennet are fascinating in their own right. Mr. Bennet is sarcastic and detached, while Mrs. Bennet is anxious, loud, and obsessed with marriage. Yet Austen doesn't treat them merely as comic relief. Together, they show how poor parenting can affect their daughter's future. Other notable characters include Charlotte Lucas, who pragmatically marries the pompous Mr. Collins for financial security. Charlotte is not criticized for this choice. Rather, Austen uses her as a lens to critique the limited options available to women. And of course, there is Lady Catherine de Bourgh, a satirical figure of aristocratic arrogance, and Mr. Wickham, the quintessential charming villain who manipulates appearances to mask his moral failings. Every character in the novel serves a thematic purpose. They are not just individuals, but representations of different social attitudes and human behavior. So the themes which is covered in this novel are, of course, as the title reads, the Pride and Prejudice. Pride versus Prejudice. The title Pride and Prejudice encapsulates the novel's main theme. Pride can lead people to act arrogantly or dismissively, while prejudice can cause them to misjudge others unfairly. Elizabeth's prejudice against Darcy and Darcy's prideful first impression of Elizabeth nearly prevents their happiness. Austen suggests that real understanding of others and of oneself is key to forming genuine relationships. Then there is also marriage and social class. Marriage, class, and social mobility are also central themes. The rigid class structure of Regency England made marriage a crucial economic transaction, especially for women. The Bennet family's lack of male heir means that their estate will pass to Mr. Collins, a distant cousin. This adds a layer of urgency to Mrs. Bennet's obsessive matchmaking. Charlotte Lucas's decision to marry Mr. Collins highlights how little agency women had. Elizabeth's refusal to marry for convenience is revolutionary in its assertion of personal choice. Marriage in Pride and Prejudice is both a romantic and economic institution. Austen critiques marriages made solely for wealth or status and instead champions unions based on mutual respect and affection. Through various couples like the Bennets, the Collinses, and ultimately Elizabeth and Darcy, Austen contrasts relationship based on appearance or convenience with those grounded in true compatibility. The book also talks about first impressions. The original title of the book was actually First Impressions, and that says a lot. Elizabeth and Darcy both learn that initial judgments can be very wrong. Growth and self-awareness. This novel is also a critique of gender roles. While Elizabeth is strong and independent, she is still bound by the expectations of her society. Her intelligence is admired by the reader, but within her world, it makes her an outsider. Austen walks a careful line, celebrating Elizabeth's strength while acknowledging the constraints of her environment. Another major theme is self-awareness. Both Elizabeth and Darcy must undergo a journey of introspection and personal growth. In this process, not dramatic external events that drives the plot. Austen's belief in the power of reason, character, and moral integrity shines through. Austen uses irony throughout the novel. Starting with the very first sentence, it is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. This line sounds like it's stating a fact, but Austen is actually mocking society's obsession with marrying of rich men. She is saying it's not the man who wants a wife, it's the society that wants to give him one. Similarly, the Netherfield ball symbolizes class divisions, misunderstandings, and the games people play to fit in or stand out. Let's talk about the style and languages which Jane Austen has used in this novel. So Jane Austen's style is subtle, ironic, and sharply observant. Her prose is elegant, laced with irony, and carefully constructed. Through dialogue and description, she creates characters that feel real and multidimensional. Even minor characters like Mr. Collins, with his ridiculous obsession with Lady Catherine, are memorable and funny. This allows the reader intimate access to Elizabeth's thought while maintaining narrative distance. The dialogue is one of the novel's great strengths. For Elizabeth's playful wit to Darcy's awkward earnestness, the conversations reveal character and conflict with precision. Austen's use of irony, particularly dramatic irony, keeps the reader engaged even when the action is largely social rather than physical. What's truly impressive is how modern her writing feels. Austen manages to criticize her society while still working within its boundaries. Her female characters, especially Elizabeth, are strong and self-reflecting in a time when women had few choices. So, why does Pride and Prejudice still remain so relevant today? Because it speaks to universal themes: misjudgments, self-growth, the tension between societal expectations and personal desires. Elizabeth Bennet remains a feminist icon, embodying the struggle for autonomy and respect in the world that often devalues both. In a society still grappling with gender inequalities and class disparity, Austen's critique remains sharp. In the era of social media and fast impressions, the idea of looking beyond appearances is more meaningful than ever. Even in classrooms and book clubs today, readers connect with Austen's exploration of how Pride and Prejudice cloud judgment. Her message that love should be based on mutual respect and understanding and growth remains as powerful now as it was in 1813. So, in conclusion, Pride and Prejudice is more than just a love story. It is a mirror held up to society, exposing its flaws with elegance and wit. Jane Austen's novel is both a product of its time and timeless exploration of human nature. Through Elizabeth and Darcy, she gives us a romance not built on fantasy but on the mutual growth and understanding. Its continuing popularity is no accident. Austen's characters feel alive, her prose sparkles with intelligence, and her themes remain strikingly relevant. Pride and Prejudice endures because it challenges us to look beyond first impressions, to value character over wealth, and to question the roles we are expected to play. Whether it's reading it for pleasure, study, or insight, Pride and Prejudice is a novel that rewards attention and reflection. And like all great literature, it leaves you a little wiser than it found you. Thanks for joining me today on this literary time machine. If you haven't read this book, it's definitely worth the read. Until next time, happy reading.
You were listening to Megha Kamath speaking on the book Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen in the genre of literature. This is today's Voices from the Bookshelf. See you next episode.